Hey guys, for the first time in quite a while, I've actually got something new for the old TRX4 Bronco. I've got this GRC Motor Mount. Nice aluminum, and what I like about it is it's got this little piece right here that comes off, so you can actually set the depth of the pinion on your TRX4 transmission. And it's already set up. You got A, B, C, D, same as the stock motor mount, except you can actually see your pinion gear. So let's go ahead and get this thing put in. Let's go ahead and lift this body off. I got some wires loose already. See my wonderful pile of spaghetti there. Got the battery hooked up. I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on and run it in neutral so we can actually listen to what the gears sound like in this configuration. Okay, so this is neutral. Now what I'll do is when I get done, I'll play this same clip again right next to the new sound with the new motor mount. And I don't know if it's going to be different, going to be quieter or what, but let's just see how the mesh sounds between the stock motor mount and this one with a 9-tooth pinion gear. I'm going to remove the stock motor mount by removing 3 screws. This one, and there's one right in here. I'm using a 2.5 millimeter hex wrench, but stock bolts are 2 millimeter hex wrench. Like I say, I have a tendency to change bolts around. I've got the bolts up and loose. Let's go ahead and lift this out. And there is the castle motor, the 9-tooth pinion gear. And I'm just simply going to remove the motor from this particular spot. You can see it's in the setting A, which is correct for a 9-tooth pinion gear. The stock pinion gear, or the stock 11-tooth pinion gear is supposed to be in the C spot. So if you're running the stock pinion gear, make sure it's right there. But anyway, I'm going to take this loose, mount this up into the new motor mount, and see about putting it back into the truck. I've got the motor in place on the setting of A, and the mount comes with 3 screws in a nice little plastic Ziploc bag. They look like they're possibly even stainless. And as nice as they are, I have managed to lose them. So I'm using my old bolts. Now you will need the longer screws because there's quite a bit of difference in thickness where the motor mount actually goes. So you will need a slightly longer screw for your motor. So now I'm going to just simply put this back into place and see how my alignment is, which I've never been able to see before. So I've got it in, set up, and the good news is I can actually see the pinion and spur gear. You can actually see the backlash, which is not too tight. I'd probably run it a little bit tighter if I could actually get the adjustment, but also the pinion could come out just a tiny little bit, and you can't come out too far or that set screw will get into your spur gear and mess it up. Now the bad news is even through this hole right here, you can't get a wrench to the pinion gear to actually adjust it. It just won't make it. So to adjust the depth of the pinion gear to the spur gear, you still have to take everything back loose. Kind of a design flaw if you ask me, but it sure looks pretty. At this point I did move the pinion gear out a tiny little bit. I really don't want that grub screw actually getting into the spur. So this piece right here just simply slides down into the mount. I can do this. Probably going to take both hands. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. And then you can see where the screw goes into right there. And there's also a screw that goes up top that actually holds everything down into place. And these screws here are meant for a motor fan, which I don't ever run a motor fan on any of my scalers. I just haven't had a need to cool any motors. I usually kind of use a smaller pinion gear and just kind of vault up, which actually works pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and put some screws into this, lock it down, and let's see what this thing sounds like. So the install is totally done except for my spaghetti wires. Let's go ahead and see what this sounds like in neutral. Doesn't sound too bad, but let's go ahead and do that comparison now. Let's just see which one is actually louder or quieter. Now, when you're on the trail and you're out driving with the buddies or even competing, you're not going to notice any difference in what we just heard. However, let's go ahead and listen to this thing. So by the sounds of it, the GRC mount is a little bit louder, and that's probably from what we could see when I had the pinion gear open. We were actually able to see how much slop there was between the pinion and the spur. So this mount may be a little bit more loose than what the stock mount is, and that could be the difference in the sound. So I doubt I'm going to have any issues with this on the trail or the course. I don't see any issues with it. I'm going to leave it in. If something does happen to strip and break, I will show you guys what tore up. Got it ready to go with a Helios 3S LiPo. I'm going to take this thing outside, give it a run, and see if there's any negative noises or any strip spurs, or see if anything bad happens. There was the drive with the motor mount. Everything done fine. The sound wasn't even noticeable, you know, when you're driving around. So, I mean, I have no complaints at all. During the jumping scenes and all that, it took several tries and had a few hard landings and maybe even a couple crashes. Take a look. few hard landings, couple crashes, nothing real major, but nothing's broke. So everything is good. Thank you guys for watching.